this morning from Christchurch. Yeah, so we played last night, finished about 11, I guess. Had 2 hours sleep. Came here.
Hang out with a couple of idiots.
I was hanging out with a couple of idiots earlier. They've gone back to the hotel to have showers. That might improve them a bit. I first played in Australia. I went to Melbourne twice in 1999. It was the first time I'd been here. The first time the Dead Sea played here was, I think, in 2005 at the What Is Music Festival. Oh, they tolerate it. My wife quite likes Bitcher from the White House. That's about as far as she'll go. The last thing she wants to do is have to listen to all of it. Oh yeah, no, I don't. It's much better that way, to be honest. I do what I do. They understand what I'm doing and why I do it. It's not really about them. It's fine. They don't have to love it. There's a lot more to me than just that. You know, if I do other things, you know, I'm a person. Yeah, well, they love things that they can say are interactive.
The Dead Sea are very interactive, but
We tend to kind of induce a state of stunned kind of submission in the audience most of the time. Yeah, the downtime is the problem when you're on tour. It's like, you know, you're just waiting for something to happen, or you're travelling to somewhere, and it's just, and there's so much of that. You know, you go all that way every 40 minutes or an hour, and the rest of the time you're basically just hurrying up to get somewhere else. It's very tedious. It's one of the things I don't particularly enjoy about it. Also, we don't, I'm not a great fan of doing large numbers of shows together, you know. 4 or 5 is about the outside that I'm really up for doing, just because I get bored. So, and we're just, because we live so far away from the places where people want to pay reasonable money to see us, it's very difficult. We've been doing it long enough that, you know, we were pre-internet, you know, we came from the fanzine culture in the 80s. It's very difficult to measure how much cut through you've got. People paying attention to us are a really, really, really tightly defined, small, it's not so much a demographic, it's a network of people who are connected internationally by their shared interests and culture, but it's very self-contained, and it's easy to be big in that very small pond. That's where we're at. But also early on, within the first 10 years, we seemed to become kind of rock critic shorthand for about as far out as you're going to want to go and still be rock music. So, you know, so we just get constantly, our name gets dropped in as the opposite pole from, I don't know, Coldplay or something. We are not big. I mean, after 27 years or whatever it is, you know, our records still sell, you know, 1,500 is good solid sales for us. You know, we don't really go much beyond that. You know, we're the classic critical success, but sales-wise, it's not really an issue. But what has changed in the last 10 years is that there are some people in the Northern Hemisphere and in Australia who will pay sufficient money to us for us to be able to go and play live, which you know, was previously never possible. Well, we've only ever really pleased ourselves, and you know, we've worked with people who are happy to help us to do what we want to do, rather than get us to do something that they think we should do. And you know, so we've gone a long way with that. That word of mouth really builds, so people go, they're actually good, you know, when you see them. We've got 4 live albums coming out in about a month's time. Well, we're not releasing them. They're coming out on, it's sort of a Bada Bing offshoot, the Grapefruit Record Club. So there are going to be 4 simultaneous live recordings only on vinyl. We hadn't done a show in a year before last night. We realised actually just before we went on stage, like, how long is it? I think it's a year. We never rehearsed. We hadn't done any. We might have done some new. No, maybe we didn't. I'm trying to remember if we'd done any recording at all, but I actually don't think so.
It's pretty much like the Blues Brothers.
I guess, minus the suits.
yeah.
You know, 10,000 Earthquakes had a lot of downside, but there were, in terms of, you know, kind of creating stuff, there's been a real freedom to just do things, get things done in the whatever way we can, and it's not ideal, but it's it gives you a kick up the arse, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Disaster is really productive. You get a lot done when things all turn to shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot because there's, for one thing, you don't have that whole state-sanctioned, funded, culture kind of industry that is occupying the space. If that starts to go away, then independent voices can be heard more easily.